going to pet down here, down the middle of her back, and sometimes she'll explore around like that. We're just going to have to manipulate the, the stuffed animal while she's moving. They're very much so like puppies. They explore a lot with their mouth, but very unlike puppies. Their teeth are extremely sharp, and so don't let her, get her face close to your arm or hand or anything like that. Just move the stuffed animal around as you need to kind of be able to avoid her. And you just stay down the middle of her back just like this. So I'll hand her over to you.
And how old did you say?
3.5 months.
Oh
She is still a
goodness.
baby. We're going to feed her just a little bit here. Get this rice mixture here.
Oh my goodness.
So you guys lodging here, or did you just come in for the day?
We just came in for that. We're in Chattanooga this weekend for the
Yeah.
bluegrass visit too.
Oh my goodness. Hi. You're beautiful. Oh my. I thought their hair would be more coarse.
Yeah, in the wild it would be. So babies, they're going to be born a little bit softer. But in the wild, adult sloths, they're going to be a lot more coarse because they've got a lot of moss and algae and fungus and bacteria all over their backs in the wild. And in captivity, they don't have any of that. So they're not trying to be camouflaged in from anything. There's nothing here that's going to be trying to eat them or harm them or anything. And in the wild, they have a really important relationship with moths that live on their backs and all throughout their fur. And it's important for the sloths to have those moths on their back, and they'll feed off of that moss and algae that's growing back there. But in captivity, we don't have any of those, nor do we need them, because we keep them in a stable environment where it's always real warm in here. And the purpose of those moths in the wild is to actually give them the bacteria that they will use to digest their food. And so she got her bacteria from her mother via like oral route. So when the mother is eating, the baby will come onto their chest and lick her in the corners of her mouth while she's eating, and get just a little bit of the mom's saliva in their mouth to then start to develop that bacteria that's in the gut there, because the bacteria that mom has in her gut is also in her saliva. And so be able to feed her some of this. I know you're taking pictures right now, but if you wanted to hold this bowl, it might be easier if you held it. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to kind of twist around. Do you think you can hold that from the side somehow?
So if I held it.
Yeah.
That's fine. I've got a lot of pictures.
Okay. And we've got, I think you guys both got 20 minutes back to back, so we'll have 40 minutes with her today.
Oh goodness. And what is the food? It looks like rice.
Yes, it is brown rice, shaved up sweet potatoes, and a really high quality dog food that's been soaked in water and then mixed into it. She'll be on that, pretty steadily for the first several months. And we'll slowly start adding in a lot more leafy greens and things like that into her diet as well. You'll probably have to kind of manipulate the bowl around for her to be able to get the little pieces. Is that so good, girl?
Do sloths normally have one baby?
Typically, they only have really enough energy reserves and everything to care for one and make one, but occasionally they'll have 2 eggs that are fertilized. Just the second baby will be really, really small, undernourished, and not survive for very long. They don't have enough means to care for both of them once they're born, and so the smallest one will eventually just fall, and the mother will let it.
And you said that her name was
Chloe. Yeah.
I feel like she's getting close to the end of the toy here.
Trying to get the
Is she
food there,
okay?
yeah. As long as you think that she feels stable, she'll be good.
She loves that.
Does she have claws?
She does, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just really small right now.
Right.
Those claws will continuously grow throughout her life, though. So she's considered to be a 2-toed sloth, although she does have 3 claws on the back, and it's the front where she has 2. So all sloths will have 3 claws on the back feet, and it's the front where they differ. And so the 2-toed sloths will have 2 on the front, 3 on the back. 3-toed will have 3 on the front and 3 on the back. But you don't really see a whole lot of 3-toed sloths in captivity in North America because their diets are really sensitive, and they can't be fed things like, rice and sweet potatoes and things. They can really only eat the leaves of the sarcopia trees that only grow in South America. And so to own a 3-toed sloth, you'd have to have those leaves imported in, and that can get to be pretty expensive pretty quickly. So as you'd have to be getting them shipped in about every week because the leaves don't keep for very long. And there's been efforts to start to grow some of those groves in southern parts of Florida and California But there's not been great success with it just yet, so that's still a work in progress. It would really grow best in a greenhouse environment, but those trees can grow to be absolutely massive trees. Grow like to be 100+ feet in the air.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long has this farm had sloths?
So we got Flash about 3.5 years ago, and he was our first sloth that we got. And then came Zoe, she came from a different breeder, and then came Dash. Dash was our third sloth that we got, and he was our second baby sloth. So Zoe was about Chloe's size when we first got her. Then came Dash, and now we've got Chloe. So that completes our sloth family. We're not planning on getting any more, but
Yeah, I think originally we were supposed to be with Zoe.
yeah.
And we went to this Chinese restaurant down there, and my other son's girlfriend was with us. She's not an adventurous eater. And I went up and I went to the restaurant. It's a really authentic Chinese place. I mean, like, you wouldn't want to eat there.
What time was your sloth encounter originally?
I'm walking back to the
2:30.
and I said, Michael, I heard him answer the phone and say animal control. And then the other sons all take up on them. They're like,
You can see that little cowlick that she has in the middle of her back there too. All sloths will have that. That hair naturally is growing up the other way. It's just because she's been pet so many times, it's kind of starting to lay down the other way. But when they're hanging in the branches, the middle part of their back will be like the lowest part of their body, and so their hair will kind of grow towards that. And she's like, "This is mine. Don't take it from me."
East Ridge. Yeah. Probably fortunate. East Ridge isn't all that.
Will she visit with people every day, or?
She will, but hers will be very limited to start out with. So right now, her encounters are just going to be 20 minutes at a time. We'll do 20 minutes, before we transfer. The transferring part of the encounter is the only really kind of unstable part. Because there for a second, she's just kind of midair, not sitting on something stable. And it continues to be that way as they get older. They'll transfer from being on the stuffy like that to then being on, just person to person. And that's, there for a second, their legs are just kind of open in midair, not holding on to anything. And they may not now.
We hadn't already weighed in. So, the next day, we went to show up for the wrestling contest, and they were weighing people in again. And
It's only been like 10 minutes.
and he was wrestling.
We started a little bit late, so.
We had to go up to 164, which is a super tough class. And I'm thinking, well, this is going to be a humbling experience for him.
So excited, I got sweaty.
Well, it's also warm in here. It's 81 degrees in here, so.
I guess they like it
Oh,
warm.
They do, yeah, so.
And then the next week we're at East Ridge, and everybody to come see this phenom down there in East Ridge. All right, guys, this is our next animal. This is a Coati. This guy is a looking animal, not a petting animal. It's great being able to count all the way to 10 and not stop at 9. This guy likes shiny things. He tries to take them from you. He likes rings and watches and cell phones the best. I'm trying to teach him what the Rolex symbol looks like, but it's a work in progress because I don't have one. So this guy is an arboreal creature meant to live up in trees. Long, sharp claws on this dude are what let him run up a tree as fast as he can run across flat ground. He can run down a tree as fast as he can run up. This guy can also run up and down the walls of this building, which Kevin hates because he gets into those wires up there and then we're rewiring everything. This guy is a close relative of the raccoon. Yeah, I was pointing at the tail, see what this it's a little. So anyway, yeah, this guy is a relative of a raccoon. This is an exotic animal, but it's worth knowing that exotic doesn't mean endangered. It doesn't even mean rare. It just means not from here. Long, sharp claws, long, wiggly nose on this dude tell us he likes to dig for his food. He likes to dig into the ground looking for bugs and grubs and such as that. He would eat any small lizard or amphibian he could catch. He would eat any mammal he could get his hands on. He likes to run up into the trees. He'll wipe out bird nests and squirrel nests with wholehearted vigor. His favorite things to eat here on the farm, he likes to eat hard-boiled eggs and grapes and blueberries. He likes superworms. He likes boneless, skinless chicken breast boiled, not fried. He likes pizza, but he won't eat Little Caesars. His favorite pizza is Papa John's Meat Lovers Pizza. Some things just rub off. But anyway, this guy was a bottle raised in the house pet till he was 8 months old. The end of his in-the-house career is when he decided his very favorite thing was to unload the cabinets multiple times a day. And about the time he headed for the vaulted ceilings with wedding flute in his mouth, that was about the end of him living in the house. There is no child-proof lock that will keep this guy out of anything. If he can't operate it with his hands, he can bite through it with his teeth. His teeth are significantly bigger than would look like what would fit in that little mouth, because he's got a gap in his top jaw, and his bottom teeth comes all the way through his top jaw and is pretty much tickling his nose at the top there. So his bottom pointy tooth is about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. His top teeth are about 1 inch. So this dude could very easily bite all the way through your hand. The two in the next stall right there are a mated pair. The one who is currently gray, normally she turns gray before she has a baby, but she's been gray for a pretty long time right now. But when the babies are born, they are super cute little animals. They kind of look like baby rockets to me. And they'll be about like that. They stay with their mother for about 5 weeks, and then they ride on my shoulder like this until they're trained to ride around on somebody's shoulder. And the training to ride on the shoulder, it's a somewhat painful process. I lose a lot of skin and have a lot of holes. While an animal with claws this sharp learns how to ride on my shoulder and not be like, ah, every time it starts to slip like I just did to him. And so anyway, cool animal. His name is Coati the Coati. Good boy, Coati. Hey, is there a farm tour, do you know?
I'll look.
I'll check later. I was just seeing if I was taking this harness off or not. Good boy, Coati.
There is at 4:30.
All right, thanks. All right, guys, this next guy is Willie the iguana. Sorry, dude. That was on me. All right, guys. This one is all the way friendly. The way I pick him up with gloves is because he tries to hang on when you have him off the ground. Now, those claws are sharp. This guy's very favorite thing in the world is to be petted. Well, maybe next to a blueberry. And when you pet him, if you pet him right here, he's all rough and bumpy. If you pet him here, he feels like sandpaper. If you pet him here, he feels like a purse or a wallet or something. Just don't stick your fingers right there. That's his third eyeball right there. Don't mess with that. All right, this guy is, again, an arboreal creature meant to live in trees. He is a good size, shape, and color to hide in trees. His camouflage is good for trees. His green back blends in with the branches. His brown legs blend in with the tree. His green back blends in with the leaves. His brown back, I can't talk. His brown legs blend in with the branches. In addition to his natural size, shape, and color, he's got a form of mimicry. Mimicry is pretending to be something other than what you are. His form of mimicry is the round circles on the sides of his face right here. If he is afraid of something coming toward him, he'll turn his face, close his eyes, and try to show this to be his eyeball, because he's hoping that something coming toward him will go, ah, look at the eyes on that thing, it's got to be huge, and maybe run away instead of coming to eat him for their dinner. These guys are all over South Florida. They can fly they can swim all the way between Florida and the Bahamas. I was thinking of flying between Florida, but anyway, he can swim all the way from the Bahamas to Florida and back and forth. This guy is at least 18 years old. I say that he's at least 18 because I know where he was 12 years
I'm
old.
used to seeing Dash and Zoe's, but hers are so small. That was one of the first things that I wanted to look at when I got to hold her. I was like, I want to see those tiny little ears. They're the cutest things ever.
In the wild, though,
she's all solid, dark, chocolatey brown like that right now. But as she gets older, she'll lighten up quite a bit down the middle of her back. They're just born a lot darker like that because they need some form of camouflage in the wild, and when they're real dark, solid color like that, they blend into the chest of the mother a lot more easy. And then as they get to be about 10 months old, they'll start to get a lot more lighter color on their back, and the moss and algae will stand out a lot more with a light background like that.
I think Donna just asked about Chloe, but I don't know which one Chloe.
Farms are on the counter, so, yes, somebody else needs to bring Chloe.
I'm in an encounter with Chloe right now. For baby sloth snuggles.
An encounter right now.
I don't know if they heard me or not.
It was a little confusing because I feel like we were supposed to see Zoe.
Is that what she said up there?
I mean, that's my original appointment was for
Yeah.
that, yeah, and then it changed to 3
Yeah.
for baby snuggles, so.
Yeah, when you got up there to the check-in place, did they say anything about what encounter you were going to have or anything?
I don't remember her saying that. I mean, I think maybe in the email she sent me, it talked about the baby, because I was just kind of confused. I was like, oh, I thought we were seeing an older one. I mean, it's okay, it's just like,
Oh,
kind of like confusing.
yeah. Well,
But I don't really feel like we signed up for the baby. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything
Oh.
against you, Chloe, at all. This is lovely.
Yeah.
And we were the first people, that's really cool.
Alright, this next one is a bearded dragon. The bearded dragon is a good size, shape, and color to hide in the desert. This one, in addition to her natural size, shape, and color being
I've been watching it, but.
form of mimicry. This one's form of mimicry is a needle inside of her and all over her.
I feel like she's going to try to lick the bowl.
They're entirely fake. There's nothing sharp about them. It just wants an animal to think, don't want
So believe it or not, with how spindly she looks, and how fragile she looks like she would be, on the inside, sloths are kind of built like trucks. So they have a total of 46 ribs, has 2 sets of 23, so they have double what we have. And with all those ribs, they're really flexible. They fall out of the trees that they're staying in about once a week on average. So it's a common occurrence. Because their eyesight is so poor, a lot of times they'll reach to grab onto what they think is the next branch. And it could be their own leg, and then they let go with their back leg and they'll fall from that. So they have to be able to withstand those falls, otherwise we probably wouldn't have sloths around anymore. But their rib cage and their bones are really pliable and flexible, so they just flex under their body weight and then go back to normal. They don't really experience broken bones, nor internal damage, because they've got a lot of connective tissue in the middle of their body cavity holding everything in the middle. So when they're upside down and when they turn themselves completely upside down just to be holding on by their back feet and extend down like that, everything stays right where it's supposed to. So when they hit the ground, it doesn't really jostle around like ours would if we got into a car accident or if we fell 100 feet from the air. It works out for them pretty well.
These lizards just don't grab them like this.
Okay. I wanted to get some of my phone so we could send them to people sooner.
She's really enjoying it.
Remember seeing these Ocatosaurus up on the farm, right? These are the exact same thing. These are all
Probably slower than I am, for sure. I had to inhale my food.
15 to 20 years old. These guys are floating all off in the back of the river. These ones are 1-year-old. The ones that are available in the pet shop are 1.5 months old.
There's wallabies or kangaroos?
Kangaroos.
Yeah, kangaroos.
Yeah. There's been talk about maybe getting some wallabies. I just don't know that we've ever put any action to it. it's definitely changes a lot because we have babies that are born here, and then you start talking about like micro squirrels and the sugar gliders and things like that. It starts to it changes a lot because the sugar gliders and micro squirrels are things that when they have babies, we'll sell those out, and that's not really the reason for why we have them. It's just kind of a byproduct of having them. So the number is always changing, and we do count all of the animals, not just the big ones that everybody sees.
Never heard of a micro squirrel.
Mhm. They are the absolute smallest animal that we have on the entire farm. They're about 2 grams. Really, really tiny.
Oh, posing. These are good shots. These are good shots. I got this. Thanks for posing. Good on to eating.
It's been about half of our time. Did you guys want to switch over now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the food.
Yes. The food from you. You are all the way scooched up there on the very tippy toe now, aren't you?
I'm gonna set my camera up here, Crystal.
Okay. Water. Oh my goodness. Sweet.
And if you're comfortable there, that's fine. Sometimes in a wood chair, it's more comfortable to kind of slouch back into that, so whatever chair you want to be in.
Yeah, that might be more comfortable.
And she's kind of sitting up high on it right now, so.
Yeah.
Put it up like this.
All right, so I looked in,
You guys said this is your only encounter, right? Yeah. Might have to hold it up real close to your mouth. Here she goes. She says, oh, thank you. They already have really poor eyesight, and when they're little babies, it's even worse for them. So the condition that they have is called rod monochromacy, and that means that they only have rod cells in their eyes and no cone cells. And the cone cells allow us to see color. Unless you're colorblind, then you lack a certain amount, if not all of those cells. And since they don't have any, they are completely colorblind. They really only see in black and white. And it's basically just blobs and shapes that they see. They can see some blood of a figure moving around, but they cannot distinguish what it is. They understand who we are by our sense of smell and our voices. We memorize our voices and know who we are by that. Since their eyesight is so poor, their sense of hearing and sense of smell tends to be really heightened. If we lose one of our senses, our other senses tend to be improved as well.
I kept thinking of everything I was doing today and the smells. I was very aware of it. I'm like, suntan lotion. That smells.
You see those little claws up there too.
I know.
Technically, you got just a little bit of an upgrade today because
Yeah,
it's her.
I kind of
her-
was
her
thinking that
young.
too, right? Because we're here longer. Oh my goodness. Because when I see picked up something.
This is awful in my mouth. something different about sloths is that they are born with their eyes open, ears open, full set of teeth, and ready to go. So they're born really small. They're only really about the palm of your hand, their body, and then their legs will stick out from that. So they're really tiny. They need mom to be able to, for protection, and they only really nurse from their mothers for about 2 to 5 weeks. Depends on the species and the gender. So if it's 2-toed versus 3-toed, and the males will nurse for just a little bit longer than the females will.
Nose is kind of shiny.
And a lot of times it'll be moist too because they have high humidity requirements, and so we will miss their enclosures once a day. It keeps their noses pretty moist like that.
Pretty soft, right?
Yeah. Do they all hang out in like the same environment? Are they separated or?
So not yet. Sloths are very solitary animals, and so naturally their natural instinct is going to want to be just by themselves. And so Flash was raised very differently, like I said, than all of our other ambassador sloths. And he's never been around any other sloths, and so he's always going to be by himself. He gets that privilege. He'll always be in that 20-foot enclosure. But eventually we're going to build a sloth house. It's a lot bigger of an enclosure to fit all 3 of our other sloths in the same spot. They were raised around a lot of other sloths, and they were raised in the same program. So it's a really big kind of like aviary type thing that all of the sloths, all the mothers that have babies will be in there. So they've been around, they've had that kind of communication in the past, and so it'll be easier to acclimate them to being together than it would be for Flash. But it'll be a very slow process when we first start to introduce them, and that they'll have, a little bit of a separation, like they'll be in a separated divider part of the enclosure, and then we'll slowly remove the divider to where they can go together and be together as long as they're interacting well. It won't be like they'll be snuggled up right next to each other. They'll still have separate corners of the enclosure to be by themselves. Is she eating it okay when it's sticky like that, when it's stuck up to the side of the bowl?
Right, maybe that's it, yeah. I wasn't sure if she was done or.
You may have to move it to kind of push it to the side where it's looser for her.
Except for cats, they can't see the food, so you move it. So.
Oh. It's going to take her a whole 40 minutes to eat the whole entire bowl. We've already been through half of it.
How many times will she eat a day?
So she's eaten, well, I say 3 times a day, but her middle feeding has been water. And so with our babies, since the sloths cannot belch and they can't pass gas, bloat is something that you really have to look out for when they're really little. That transition phase from them being at the breeding facility to then coming here. And he's licensed, he has the same licenses as we do, and he's inspected by the USDA, so he is a USDA breeder. So even though she's went through a small quarantine, it hasn't been as long as, necessarily you'd have to if the breeder wasn't a USDA certified licensed facility like that. So the middle feeding has been just water, and I think we're slowly transitioning over now because we've had her for 2 weeks now, almost 2 weeks, and she's been doing well. We're slowly going to start to.
She's only been here 2 weeks?
Do what?
She's only been here 2 weeks? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
She is still in the transition phase.
You can hold in here. Okay, I got that. Yeah, so the hand sanitizer, you can either use that or you can use this one. And then you can kind of lay that here and then choke them out in a minute. And just make sure you don't put your hand in it. Okay?
Hey, come on, baby. It's fine, they can walk around. They're not gonna hurt anything. All right, guys, this is Abu the camel. Abu is my favorite animal on the farm.
Can you feed them? A little bit of that food from up there in the petting zoo? Yep. But they're gonna keep trying to get it because it's in her hand.
Come on, back away. Okay, come here.
Abu the camel. Abu is a large camel, but that guy out there is a giant. If you Google search largest camel living in North America, will tell you that at Ocoee Riverside Farm. Is the biggest camel currently alive in the U.S. He is 7.5 feet tall. He weighs 1,750 pounds. This guy is Abu. He weighs about 1,250. He's about 6'9". This guy. The most interesting thing about a camel is their ability to store and use water in the form of fat. On the hottest day in the desert, a camel can go 10 days to 2 weeks with not a single drop of water. In that period of time, they can lose 30% of their body mass to dehydration. So, that camel weighs 1,750. Lost 30%. That would be 500 pounds to dehydration. If I lost 30% of my body mass, that's about 60 pounds of dehydration. If I lost 60 pounds because I had no water for 10 days, there's a special word for that condition. That word is, that's the one. And if the camel had lost 500 pounds because he had no water for 10 days to 2 weeks, the word for his condition would be thirsty. Yeah. And if the camel is thirsty, oh my goodness, he's thirsty. If that camel had actually lost 30% of his body mass, he could drink 50 gallons of water in less than 3 minutes. That is chucking down around 17 gallons per minute, or about 1 gallon every 4 seconds. So he could drink it faster than you could pour it down the drain. The way that works is pretty amazing because there is no tank in the camel for liquid water except his stomach. And his stomach only holds about 7 to 10 gallons of water. So where does the water go? So the way that it works, as he dehydrates, his red blood cells go from oval, just walk down to flat. That accounts for about 150 pounds of his loss of mass. At the same time, his fat cells shrink. We're all normal-sized people, so suppose this was normal size for a human fat cell, and we had a burning desire to star in the show My 600-Pound Life. Our fat cells could go from something like this to something like that, dozens or hundreds of times their original volume. For a human, that would take decades, or more likely a lifetime, for a fat cell to go from this to that. Camel is the opposite. Camel walks around with his fat size, the size that we would call super morbidly obese, or My 600-Pound Life. And as he dehydrates, they shrink all the way down to what we would refer to as normal. So normal for us is severely dehydrated for a camel. Normal for a camel is 600-pound life for us. Difference being, as the camel dehydrates and he shrinks all the way down to what we would call normal. When the camel gets to the other side of the desert and is going to drink literally 50 gallons of water in 3 minutes, what happens is his red blood cells go from flat, just boom, right back to oval immediately, as fast as he can swallow the water. Then his fat cells go from normal for a human back to normal for a camel, again, as fast as he can drink it. For a human to go from this to that is decades of unlimited access. For a camel to go from this to that is about 40 seconds on an individual cell basis. 3.5 minutes for the whole body. What did this teach me about the Bible? What I learned about the Bible from a camel. In the Old Testament, when it says that the servant is looking for a bride for his master's son, and he prays, "Oh Lord, let it be a sign to me that the young woman would offer to water not only me, but the camels as well." Before I had camel, I'm like, so what? She gave your animal a drink. I mean, can we talk about a burning bush? About throw out a sheet of wool? I don't know. Do something, right? but watered your camel. But now that I have camels, back up a few verses, you can see he was walking with 10 loaded with gifts, so a minimum of 10. This guy could drink 30, that guy could drink 50. Now we're talking about some girl going to dip up 300 to 500 gallons of water with a bucket. That hits a little different. What I learned from that is the fact that I didn't understand something in the Bible didn't make it wrong. It just meant that I had a lack of knowledge at the time. Maybe at some later point I'll understand, maybe not, but the Bible is true and accurate. Alright, this guy happens to be the kissing camel. If you ever wanted to kiss a camel, this is your chance. Especially for the moms. Put your hands behind you like this because moms can't hear. Don't put your hands in the camel's face or my face. Neither one of us are fans. But if you walk up to the camel and you go, that camel will give you a kiss. It is the top of his nose, not his slobbery mouth. Makes a great photo. If you're shy to kiss a camel, you can stand like this, and if you got long arms or a friend, you can have a pretty nice selfie. All right, guys, if you want to check that camel out, I got one more animal to show you when we get done with that. While people are doing their kisses, and if you want a group photo, one of us will take your picture for you. That guy right there is Fox. He's the fox with socks. That is a baby alpaca. The other one right there is Blondie. She may or may not have a heart of glass. That one in there is Liza Minnelli. That is a baby miniature llama. Please don't throw rocks at animals. And the other one running around in there is Geef. That's another one of those black belly sheep. Trying to get a group limit there for you.